Hello all you crazy people out there, my name is Stupid, and I live up to that name because I forgot to start recording, and I didn't notice until 5 minutes in. Fortunately, it was only 5 minutes in. Let's see, what am I doing here? I am meeting with Remy, Anna, Lauren, Bryce, Adine, or I'm going to spend the day reading. Oh my god, there are, I really do want to find out what happens in all of these, but I think, the game has established by now that I can only choose two of the options when I get to spend the day with whatever. How am I gonna do this? When I forgot to start recording, I met with Anna, but I only got a couple lines of dialogue in there before I realized that I had to start over, for better or for worse. I could do that again if I want to make this, like, completely genuine and not feel like cheating. Speaking of which, I realized as soon as I hit the stop recording button at the end of the last video that I could have, like, the game gave me, like, 6 opportunities to flirt with Adine, and I kind of didn't pick any of them because I live up to my in-game name. I don't know if I pick her again, I'll be able to, make up for lost time or anything. We'll see. Let's see. We'll go with Anna. And on time. Now where is she? Hello? What's this? Looks like a message. Okay, so I know how a little bit of this is going to go, at least until about she shows up. Something came up at the last second. Wait for me, it shouldn't be long. Anna, on the door. I guess at the last second is meant in a literal sense here, or else she could have just called me. Guess we're playing the waiting game then. Let's see. Okay, it's been like an hour and my patience is slowly but surely running out. I am going to keep waiting, because sunk cost. I've already waited this long, so I guess I can wait a little longer. I'm not sure who the world record holder for most patient person is, but now I feel like a contender. And, the same cannot be said for me as the narrator, because I am the most impatient person I have ever met in my entire stupid life. Still no sign of her, though. I'm going to keep waiting. If she doesn't show up soon, I'm done. Oh hey, there you are. Where have you been all this time? Reading comprehension must not be your strong suit, because my note clearly said I'll be back soon. Note to self, the word soon now refers to a time span of over 2 hours when waiting for a scheduled appointment. And Stupid, I take it you have never been to a doctor's office, because that happens, like, all the time. Okay, has it really been that long? It certainly didn't feel like it. Alright, I'm sorry for making you wait. I have the option to make her mad, make her annoyed, or she's already going to be both mad and annoyed at me either way, because that's what Anna does, so I'm gonna go with this. It happens to me all the time. I guess we missed our movie. Can't we see the late screening or something? That was the late screening. The theater's closed now. I like how she has two poses. There's neutral and there's facepalm. Or at least those are the only ones I've realized exist so far, anyway. Wait a minute. Why do your ears look like fins? I just noticed that. Whatever. That won't work. At least not for me. Today was the only day I could leave early, you say as you arrive 2 hours late. I won't have another chance anytime soon. So, what do we do now? Maybe the coffee place is still open. I don't know. I guess that's better than nothing. Closed as well. That's just peachy. I feel like I used that expression just completely out of the blue earlier in this story, and I don't know why, and now I'm seeing you say it again. And that's not exactly a common expression. Oh, whatever. Maybe I picked it up from one of the other characters or something. Why do you keep working so late anyway? Because what I'm doing is important. I understand wanting to see things through to completion. How long have you been working on your current project? Not long enough to finish it. Please never get a job in a video game studio. That's not good. You're going to burn yourself out. So what? Is your work really worth jeopardizing your health over? You're not going to help anyone if you're dead. If I don't finish this, no one else will. No one else can. She really does work in a video game studio. Of, like, biology. Besides, I was only late today because I got your stupid blood work ready. You have the test results. Yeah, want to know what I have to say about them? I'm guessing it's gonna be laced with profanity. Definitely. Okay, so how much do you know about genetics? A little bit, I guess. Don't worry, I'll put it into words that are easy for you to understand. To start off, I found that on average, about 80%, 80%. That is definitely a 90% of your genes are homologous to our species genes. That may seem like a lot, but to put it into perspective, about 50% of your DNA is also shared with fruit. To further elaborate, you and your human neighbor back home probably are around 99.9% genetically similar. If you compared the various sentient species we have here to each other, they would only be about 95 to 97% similar. And I feel like the game is just trying to shoehorn knowledge into my brain. Then again, this isn't there's precedent for this because she taught me about alligators and the way that they are allowed to just not eat for extended periods of time. As for what exactly all this tells us, although a match of 90% sounds like a lot, it's not as much as you might think. Still, for two beings from a different world altogether, that's quite remarkable. I've heard that before, and like when I took biology in high school, they were like, you share most of your DNA with basically everything else that's alive, or something like that. I think the comparison was like, you're more similar to a tomato than you think, or whatever. I kind of wonder why they don't use like a logarithmic scale for comparing DNA, because it's like 90%, then I don't know, this is a completely wild guess, but like me and a chimpanzee could be 99%, then she said me and another human would be 99.9, so it's really kind of logarithmic instead of linear. Two beings from a different world altogether, that's quite remarkable, yes. Beyond DNA, the biggest similarity between us is within the brain structure. But that's not surprising, considering our high-level cognitive abilities. That'll surprise Maverick. What do you mean? He doesn't seem to like humans very much. I'm sure he'll be displeased to know how similar we are. Oh, he doesn't like anyone, really. He's just like me in that way. Yeah, you two would make a great couple. I'm trying to come up with a shipping name for that, but the names are too dissimilar for that to really work. You're a little late from that. I'm already his ex-girlfriend. Oh, I am sorry. That joke is in bad taste, like most of my jokes. Really? How did that go? Not how you might think. It actually went pretty well, for a while at least. But in the end, we both got too absorbed in our jobs until we realized we had drifted apart too much and agreed it would be better if we just broke up. I still respect him for the work he does. I mean, we even used to solve crime together. I'd be in the lab running tests, and he'd be out in the field chasing after the perps. Those were good times. I guess nowadays he just chases after me. What? Oh, that was me talking. I thought that was Anna talking, and I thought you said you broke up, like, in mutual agreement or something. I don't know. Maybe I shouldn't say that. But if you know him, maybe you can help me out. I certainly can't help if you... I certainly can't help you if you don't tell me what's going on. Okay, but this is just between us, alright? Sure, whatever. Maverick is convinced that I'm the accomplice of a crime. He made a point to tell me that he's searching for proof to legally arrest me, or worse. Oh, I wouldn't worry about that. Really? It's nothing. He can't find any proof that doesn't exist. Still, it doesn't feel too nice to be threatened and stalked, especially by someone like him. That's just him. He gets way too into it. That's a polite way of saying it. He gets way too into it once he sets the sights on something. I noticed. It's his job, what do you expect? I wish he'd just leave me alone. He wasn't always like this, you know? A couple of years ago, he was assigned to this one case. Ooh. Exposition. He was still relatively new on the force, young and eager to help. Then reality came crashing down on him. There was a serial killer who shook up the whole town. The victims were apparently eaten. Okay. We later found out that the killer's actions were the result of a degenerative disease, which brought his feral nature to the foreground. At that point, he was just a wild animal, turned into a cannibal that hunted under the shadows of night. Everyone in town was up in arms, terrified that they'd be next. The police did everything they could. A curfew was instated, and patrols guarded the streets at night. And then they found him munching on his fifth victim. Poor little Maverick was not prepared for what he would find. Stay in back, Maverick. I'll handle this. Okay, so this is flashback land. Miles, it was his brother. Oh, that makes things complicated. Step away from the body, Miles. Wait, what? Bryce is addressing Miles as if he's the one he's talking to, but I've been led to believe that Miles is dead. Alright, whatever. Miles couldn't comprehend the words. Oh, he's not dead yet. Oh no, Miles is the serial killer. Okay, that all makes sense. And only saw rivals who wanted to take away his prey. And he wasn't about to just let go of it without a fight. Miles raised his head for the kill, blood dripping from his maw. The officer's breaths were smothered by the deadly stillness of the night. Fangs bared, the feral dragon snarled and stood strong in front of his meal, prepared to protect it from the two who intruded upon his territory. Whatever this is, Miles, it's over. Don't make it worse now. Ow. In an instant, Miles was upon Bryce that clashed in a flurry of teeth and claws. Miles had the advantage with his small frame and quick movements, and Bryce could not get a clear hit in. Yes, because this isn't the first time we've been making fun of Bryce for being too big and taking up the entire stairwell or whatever. It all happened so fast that Maverick didn't know what to do. They rolled on the ground, and Bryce ended up on his back, as helpless as a turtle. Miles pinned him down and clamped his jaws on his neck. Bryce's claws were the only thing preventing Miles from biting down, and they were slipping, slick with blood and quivering with fatigue as he tried to push him off. For a brief moment, Bryce thought he'd meet his end when the jaws suddenly relaxed and he was able to dislodge them. When he looked up, he saw that Maverick has managed to get Miles from behind. He bit through his brother's neck from above. Ow. Blood flowed down from Maverick's jaws over Miles' lifeless body. Bryce had been saved, but the young dragon wore a wide-eyed, empty stare. Maverick blamed himself for not taking better care of his brother. He knew Miles had problems and was taking medication for it, but he wished he could have done more to help him. The medication wasn't the right one, by the way. Maverick takes solace in the fact that he was able to save Bryce, but he's never been the same since the incident. Now he scrutinizes everyone and everything. I'm not sure how that's supposed to help me. Same. It doesn't, but now you know why he is how he is. Why he is how he is. It's not unusual for him to act like this, so you might want to just wait it out. You might have to just wait it out. Anyway, let's get back to your test results. Since you were so interested, did you want a copy of them? Sure, why not? So, since this is like an optional branch of the story, is that going to come up being relevant later in the main story, or is that just background for Maverick? Or that sort of thing. Ray's blood, you were looking for Ray's blood too. Of course, I invited him over too, but that was before you arrived. And I thought what he had was special. I thought what we had was special. Oh, it is. Razor was just too stuck up to agree to anything. He wouldn't even participate in an exhilarating round of trivial board games. Trivia board games, not trivial board games. There's a very big difference there. Alright. The difference one character can make, as they say. Let's see, Grandma. Not even that, can you believe it? I can almost see the sarcasm dripping from your mouth. Still, it's kind of a shame. It would have been interesting to compare your blood to his. What a shame indeed. Let's just enjoy our romantic date in the back of the alley by a coffee shop. Of course. Unless you want to take this someplace else. What, you don't like hanging around dirty back alleys? I would rather to be someplace less dirty. I feel like all three of these are going to end up in the same place. Let's go inside, I guess. Hey, I bet you've never had a date in an alley before. I haven't. Not sure I ever wanted to. Where's your sense of adventure? Oh, hang on. There it is. Yes, I can feel the adventure kicking in. I'm getting kinda hungry. I figured we'd be having a meal on our date. In giant air quotes. What? You can't go a few hours without having to stuff your face? Look, we talked about this, okay? And how I want to be an alligator? I could offer you a handful of dirt if that's to your taste, stupid. I already have my own dirt. I mean, it's not like she doesn't already think I'm slightly off my rocker. Oh, really? What kind of dirt would that be? Only the finest government-funded dirt from Tatsi Park. Your filthy back alley stuff has nothing on this. Wait, was that actually relevant because I chose to play around in the bushes? You win this round. Either way, a side dish would be nice. I know this one place that never closes. Let's go there. Alright. Somewhat unusually, I have for whatever reason, I have a mug of tea in front of me instead of a bottle of water for when I talk for too long on recording here. Just in case you find that kind of details interesting. After several minutes of walking, Anna led me to the outskirts of town. We arrived at a farmhouse. On one side, fields stretched towards the horizon, and on the other were lush green hills fenced with populations of wild animals. What kind of restaurant is this supposed to be? Self-serve. Oh. I was thinking like a buffet, but I think she means like we're gonna just raid somebody's tomato garden. Okay, you need to behave yourself. I know. How well can you hunt? Me? Even if I knew how, it's not like I have any equipment here. Equipment? What a sissy. Look, some of us don't have fingernails that are like the length of a... I'm casting my mind around for something that's the length of a giant claw, but whatever. You've got hands and teeth. What more do you need? A long-range weapon, maybe. Like fire? I suppose even you can make use of that. Hey, do you guys even breathe fire in this world? Because I haven't seen any evidence of that so far. Alright, since I'm apparently the only one capable of acquiring food, I'll be right back. Anna walked over to a fenced enclosure of animals that reminded me of sheep. She crouched and squeezed herself through the bars, after which I lost sight of her. Waiting game 2.0, start. It took only a couple of minutes for her to return, dragging one of the animals behind her with her now bloodied jaws and hands. Dinner's ready. Okay, so that's a third pose. For Anna. What kind of animal is this? It's called a mouflon. Anyway, do you have a part you prefer? See how nice I am? I'm even letting you choose first. I'm not hungry anymore. You do plan on cooking this, right? Because I have no idea what bloodborne parasites exist in this world. I don't know what any of those are. I think Grump is the butt. Okay, using one of her claws, she skinned the dead Mouflon and divided it into various pieces. Do you want yours grilled or raw? Okay, so you're giving me the option to cook these. Unless prepared properly, raw meat carries a significant risk of diseases for us. How inept can your species even be? You can't hunt on your own, and you need tools to help you at every step. You don't even have claws to cut things up. Don't rub it in, alright? I'm not sure how you could even survive in the wild. Seriously, what god did you piss off to end up like that? All of them? There's a Calvin and Hobbes strip for this. I'll see if I can find it when I go to edit this video. Do you really believe that? I do. How cute. I guess that's one way to make yourself feel superior to other species. She opened her maw wide before a liquid shot from both corners of her mouth and onto the ground below the parts of the Mouflon she had prepared. Is that like lighter fluid? Can you just produce lighter fluid? After a few seconds, the liquid burst into flame, heating up the dinner. That's a neat trick. Okay, so it's like nitroglycerin or something. Sure. I'm curious to find out how that evolved. I bet you wish you could do that, huh? Yeah. The answer is yeah. It comes in handy. How does that work anyway? Don't you ever burn your mouth? Not at all. There are actually two different components. They only catch fire when a sufficient quantity of both is present. Okay, that's fair. Interesting. I feel like your knee is in the wrong place, but I can't quite place where it should be. In that picture, the flames weakened and grew smaller until they went out, revealing steamy, appetizing pieces of meat. Help yourself. I grabbed a piece, but dropped it as soon as I felt the heat on my fingertips. Okay, that is still hot. Can't take a little heat, huh? That's too bad. Unaffected by its temperature, she took a piece into her hand, tore off a chunk of it with her teeth, and started chewing. I guess her scales are a good insulator. Evidently. How does it taste? Just wonderful. Stolen goods always taste the best. I can already picture the old farmer reduced to tears after he discovers one of his precious Mouflons is gone. She's not going to think any of these answers are funny. I could teach you a thing or two. I think it should be cool enough for your sensitive little fingers now. Carefully, I grabbed one of the pieces, which by now had indeed cooled down enough to not burn me anymore, and took a bite. For what it's worth, I kind of doubt that all the dragons in the story are doing this, because apparently they had normal food from the diner place, whatever, that I was at earlier. And like fruit and stuff. It was a little bland, I had to admit, but not bad for something that was alive less than an hour ago and prepared in the wild. How do you like your Mouflon a la Anna? I could use a few spices. Tastes a little bland, I think it could use a few spices. She's gonna yell at me again, isn't she? Yeah, I'm not one to destroy a perfectly good piece of meat with stupid vegetables. But you can put some grass on it if you like. That's not quite the same thing. How often do you just go out and hunt on your own? Only when necessary, or when I feel like it. I still go to fancy restaurants because I can afford it, but they don't mean much to me. For me, it's all about the experience, and one isn't necessarily better than the other. I can see your point. That was unusual but fun. Let's go with that. I can see your point. This certainly isn't how I would have thought the evening would go, but it was pretty fun. It could have been worse. We could have just spent the entire time hanging around in the back alley. Anyways, I'm stuffed. Me too. There's still plenty left over. What are we going to do with it all? We can just leave it here. Hey! Maybe the old farmer will help himself to it. How nice of us. Yeah, he should pay me for cooking such a nice meal. We should probably leave before that senile has-been wakes up from his evening nap. Yeah, let's go. Alright, good job. That was interesting. Wait a minute, I've got something for you. Here you go, your test results, black on white. Thanks, but did you really need to spend that extra time getting this done today? I just wanted to get it over with when I had the chance. Maybe you should start thinking about not working so late on a regular basis. It might do you some good, Anna. Why do you think so? I'm just saying, if it usually gets as bad as it did today, that's not a good sign. I just didn't pay attention to the time, but I guess that's because I barely go out anyway, and I didn't even think about watching the clock. Or the windows, obviously. Okay, point taken. So, what are you going to do? I'll think about it. You know, now that this day is officially over, if I don't work overtime every single day, I could fit you in. I could fit you in for your end of the deal. Wait, what? What deal? Of course you didn't forget about that. Is this about the blood? I'll let you know the details, or just call me if I forget. Sure. Alright, is that this recording's been going for 20 minutes. This is chapter 3, Passion. Did we get to second base with her or something? Is that what that means? The morning sun declared the arrival of a new day and woke me from my vivid dreams. Memories of my home enclosed with the towering perimeter wall raced through my head. And, on that cliffhanging note, I think I'm going to end it here. So, my name is... I caught myself that time. My name is Stupid. This has been Angels with Scaly Wings. And in the next part, I don't know. This doesn't sound like the narrator speaking or something because what enclosed perimeter? I will see you all later.